Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome! I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound, and I couldn't be any more excited because of your guys' feedback from a video I put up a few days ago regarding what could have been the end of the Monday market coin report. What we have instead is a supplemental video to go along with that general weekly market report. And then again, because of your guys' recommendation, how about we do a weekly pocket change market report? These are going to be coins that have sold on eBay within the last 7 days that highlight both errors and varieties that can be found in pocket change. It's real simple. We're going to talk about all these coins that generally will be raw. They won't be graded, none of that stuff. You're not going to see high graded specimens in here that sold for $10,000. Generally, with this report, we're going to focus on coins in that, however low dollar point you want to place on it, all the way up to about $200. So these are going to be coins that are much more easier to find, I guess, more approachable. What are people finding out there and then turning around and selling on the secondary market? In this case, it's going to be eBay. It's going to be eBay all the time as we dissect into 15 coins that I pulled out just from the last 4 or 5 days. Surprisingly, it was an incredibly busy kind of selling week, with Christmas being over, the new year has come and passed. People are just in the hunting mood. And there's a great case for that as we see a lot of folks crack open those bankrolls, or maybe they go into their pocket change or take a look at some old coins that was passed down to them at one point. So we're going to look at the more legitimate stuff. Okay, I've researched, checked out each individual coin. There's going to be a few coins in there that wouldn't fit under the variety or error aspect of it, but they are definitely worth mentioning. So here it is, the premier edition, the very first pocket change market report. And with these, these are gonna hit somewhere in Thursday, Friday every week, so that way they're not on top of the other Monday market report that I generally do either on Sunday night or Monday. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the first coin of the conversation here. And I found this BU roll, a 1972 Lincoln Cents. Okay, it's a common date, millions of them were produced. However, this one right here, typically a BU roll of 72s on their own are worth about $3 to $5. On the other hand, this one has a really nice end of roll coin that exhibits a nice doubled die. So you'll see on here, you see some doubling in Liberty. I think this is either double die obverse number 2 or 3. I haven't completely checked it out, but I have recognized this particular variety on there. And this one right here sold for $100 on New Year's Day. You can't ask for a nicer kind of return on what could be a very minimal investment than something like this. So this first highlight coin is going to be more of an outlier because it is indeed a full BU roll. And again, if you guys are looking for phenomenal high grade specimens of your favorite either error or variety, try and pick up some inexpensive BU rolls. They can be had for about $2 to $3 to $4 for most dates. This one certainly fits that profile as a great cherry pick, and I'm glad to talk about it today. So another coin I wanted to talk about, and one in which that is kind of not a lot of people know about it, but the die-hard kind of searchers and the people that deal with varieties know this one right here, and it's the 1972 D Lincoln Cent. However, this one is a double die obverse number 1. All right, as you can see from the diagnostics on this coin, you have some pretty strong doubling on the coin. Okay, primarily in God We Trust, and then to a little bit of a lesser degree on Liberty. Okay, it's all profiled on this coin. Again, the real key to identifying some of these errors and varieties is having a fantastic either 8 times or 10 times power magnifier, which by the way, down below this video in the description box, I do have some Amazon affiliate links that'll take you to some of these items. In addition, if you're really diehard into varieties and errors, there is also a really cool microscope that I highly recommend called a Celestron, and it hooks right up to your computer, and it's easy to use. And kind of a little shameless plug in there, but the best tools, okay, aren't going to come cheap, and you want to have the best tools as you're searching through these coins to find things like this 72D. Now, this one sold on New Year's Day for $47.95 shipped. Pretty phenomenal find. Again, a coin that you find in pocket change could be worth 40, 50 bucks, at the flick of a wrist, at the flick of a finger, on eBay. So it's pretty cool, and I'm glad to talk about this one here. So the next one that we have here is going to be one of the few non-penny related varieties on the list, but I'm glad to talk about this 2016 P. It's a Philadelphia minted Harpers Ferry, West Virginia National Park quarter. All right, some of you don't know that there are a bunch of different double die reverses that exist on this coin. Go ahead and take a look at the images right here, and you'll see some of the doubling in the window panes of the building that's right on the reverse of this coin. This one is dubbed as Wexler's double die reverse number 92. There is over 100 different double dies for this particular date, and it can only be found on the Philadelphia minted examples. This one sold for $4.25, but I would venture to guess that, if you go through a lot of quarters and it's one of like your target denominations that you search through, this one, especially if you're on the East Coast, guys, keep an eye out for these. They sell for about $3 to $5 a pop. You find like 5 to 10 of them in a box, then you're talking like extra money, okay? And you don't even have to work hard for it, just find them. So the next coin that I wanted to talk about on the list, okay, we're already 4 coins in deep, but we got 15. We got a lot of content to cover. But this is one of the most popular double dies to ever exist in Lincoln Cent collecting, and it's the 1995 P. This particular double die hit all sorts of news, and it hit the scene running. Back in 1995, it was even on the news, it was in magazines, newspapers, you name it. People were talking about this coin. And even to this day, these coins are being found, all right, and they're worth money, okay? They are still worth money in virtually any grade. All right, so this one right here is a nice kind of like about uncirculated brownish coin. Okay, it's not beautiful by any stretch. It's not a freshly minted coin, but it is certainly one that has seen a little bit of work out in commerce today. So this one right here is a coin that sold December 31st for $24. And keep in mind, you guys can check out these same listings on eBay and just look at completed auctions, and you'll see all of these in there. So that's a pretty cool coin, and one in which is still found quite a bit even to this day. All right, so we're gonna have another coin here on the list that, again, not a lot of people would generally keep, and they'll usually pass up, throw back in the stack. But this is a 1994 P Lincoln Cent. This one has a very subtle misaligned die. Okay, it's the type of error in which the hammer die that strikes the obverse of the coin with Lincoln's profile is somewhat shifted over from the reverse die. As you can tell, the reverse die is nice and centered on this coin. The obverse, it's a little bit off, and you have a much fatter kind of rim on one side than the other. A coin like this sold for $8.50. Talk about easy money on December 29th of this past year. So that's a pretty cool find. Keep an eye out for these misaligned die coins. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at probably the most ridiculous listing on this list, and it's going to be a 1992 D Lincoln Memorial Cent. All right, in case you haven't figured out, look at this thing. This one has a lot of doubling, okay, but it's not the kind of doubling in the variety sense, okay? It's not hub doubling. This is what they call machine doubling. All right, so as a coin is being struck and the dies kind of begin that that operation of separating from the coin. Okay, you get a little bit of a die hop, all right, which create this shelf-like doubling on a lot of the devices of these coins. Now, these aren't errors and they're not varieties, okay, but somehow, some way, they have found their niche among the collecting community for what they are. This one is extremely dramatic though, and this is a coin that's sold for $116.44 for a coin that is neither a variety or an error. It's pretty crazy, but keep in mind, this is the market. People are paying up for coins that look like this. Pretty nice. All right, so we have another quarter, and it's another Harpers Ferry. Okay, so it's a 16p. Again, you're going to find these only in the Philadelphia minted coins, but this is another doubled kind of window pane variety that you're going to have to take, keep an eye out on. And generally, again, you'll need that nice magnifier to make it happen. But this is one of those Harpers Ferry double die reverse coins. This one is Wexler's DDR number 82, all right? So it's a little bit different than the one that we saw earlier in this video, but this one sold for $4.25, December 29th, okay? Keep an eye out for this as well. All right, so we have a pretty neat double die. Again, this is one that is generally overlooked among just the overall kind of like searching public when it comes to roll hunters, but it's a 1983 Lincoln Memorial cent. This one is a double die obverse number 1. It is also a Cherry Picker's Guide variant. Okay, it's an FS 101. This one grades at about a choice AU. All right, it's a red brown. It's got a little bit of circulation, so it's definitely been pulled out of change. But this one right here, you can see the doubling, and not only in God We Trust, but also Liberty. Okay, keep an eye out for this particular variety. Collectors want them. Okay, and because of that, someone on December 28th of this past year paid $47.95 for a regular circulated example of this coin. Again, treasures exist in all kind of value ranges. That $48 coin right there is a nice find. All right, so here's another one that has been one of the most controversial coins in history, and it's got to be the 1955 wheat cent with the poor man's double die. Okay, so what I didn't do was actually draw arrows on this schematic. Okay, you have the full obverse of the coin, and this one is also in one of those wacky third-party holder grading holders that nobody ever uses. But this particular coin right here is a nice kind of like AU with some carbon spotting issues and fingerprints and things like that. So it's been circulated. But you'll see the doubling in places like the last 5 of the date, where it looks like there's an extra 5, but in reality, we're talking about a deteriorated die at this point, which gives a lot of kind of the outer devices, like In God We Trust, the first few letters in Liberty, and that final 5 in the date, kind of like a doubling appearance. Okay, it gets stronger on the more later die state examples, but people, for whatever reason, want to buy these. Okay, and this one sold on the 28th of December for $18.94. People are continuously paying for the poor man's double die, and proof is right there. All right, so another Lincoln cent, no surprise. It's been the hottest thing in the last week. We have one of the most collected double dies in this series. This is a 1980 Lincoln Memorial cent. This one is double die obverse FS 101 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. But go ahead and take a look at the date. Okay, you have a pretty tremendous spread in this doubling, and this is one that is worth quite a bit of money in generally all grades. Okay, even the low balls. This one sold for a best offer of $129.95 on December 28th. All right, so keep an eye out for things like this as well. They are hot in the market. Anything Cherry Picker's Guide related is widely collected, and people pay up for really nice examples. All right, so here's one that I didn't know about, and I had to do a little bit of research to see what it is, and it's a cool little error. Okay, and it affects the 2009 P Formative Years Lincoln cent. This, of course, has Lincoln sitting on the log As we all know, there is a lot of double die reverse variant types of this coin for the Philadelphia minted examples, where you have extra thumbs and things of that nature. But this one right here has a pretty cool die crack that goes from the rim and into his shoe. The seller of this item affectionately referred to this as the bootstrap variety, when all in reality it's simply a later die state coin with a die crack that goes right through his shoe. It's a pretty marvelous looking example here, and this is one that sold December 27th for $12.25. Again, people are paying all sorts of wacky money for things that are so minor, but if you don't get in close with them, you don't know that you're going to have an opportunity to make a few bucks, all right? And in reality, they all do add up, okay? So keep an eye for that too. All right, so we have a pretty interesting one here. It's a 52p Lincoln Wheat cent. Obviously, it's circulated. Okay, so typically in a $25 box of Lincoln cents, we'll come across maybe 10 to 15 wheat cents. Oftentimes, they are going to be common dated coins, but keep in mind there are varieties hidden within these finds. All right, so you have like 10 to 15 shots to find something really nice. This one right here is so minor and so it's so underrated as a variety that people generally overlook these if they don't have a magnifier. So this one is a double die obverse, but it has a small extra eyelid. Okay, if you take a look at the image, you'll see the eyelid right in front of the eye. It's ever so small and shallow, but this one is a recognized Wechsler double die. Okay, so keep an eye out for this. It's minor, but it's certainly worth looking for, and it's sold for $5. Okay, that's a quick, easy $5 bill for something that generally is being passed up. So it's all this smaller parts that add up to something greater. And I always tell people, even if it's worth $2, $3, pull it out, because it's still worth $2, $3. That's 200 to 300 times face value. Sounds ridiculous, but it really does work. All right, so we have a few left. Okay, and then here's one that is probably one of my favorites over time, and that's the 1960D large date Lincoln Memorial cent. As you guys can even see, all right, this one has a doubled mint mark. Okay, these are called repunch mint marks in the variety field. So it simply means that the D has been punched twice by hand into the master die. All right, and that's by the mint employee. They use a long thin punch, and they hammer in the mint mark onto the master dies. And then sometimes they'll hop, they'll be off a little bit, they'll repunch it, and you get this really dramatic effect on the minted coins, as in an extra D or an extra S or whatever. It's a pretty neat find. This one sold December 26th for $11.56. Pretty nice find. Keep an eye out for this one too. All right, so we have a coin right here, a nice error of sorts, one in which you can even see what the front of it looks like. It's all nice and smooth. You got kind of a deep rim dish on the obverse of the coin, but you have a fully struck reverse. What is it? Well, this one right here is a byproduct of a coin that was struck with dies that have a cap on it. Okay, a cap is simply a coin that was struck, but it's stuck to the hammer die, all right, and never fell off. So the coin on the die would strike the next coin, strike the next coin. It would continuously strike coins, until it's smoothed out. Okay, this is a little bit later progression of a strike, because you don't see the reverse impression on the obverse of this coin. So this is a really neat example right here. They do pop up and change. I found a few myself, and this one sold on Christmas Day for $23.27. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and end it off on a pretty neat one in which I've talked about on a few occasions, and it's going to be a 2018 Philadelphia quarter. Okay, this one is the Michigan Pictured Rocks National Park quarter. This one has the probably the first documented double die obverse. As you can see in God We Trust, you'll notice some pretty neat doubling on there. Okay, you're going to see all the letters are all stretched out. You'll see a little bit of splitting some notching that are kind of soft on these single squeeze coins of the newest generation. But this one right here, only found on the Philadelphia Pictured Rocks quarters. Keep an eye out for this one as well. This one sold for $10.99 shipped on Christmas Day. All right, so what do you guys think? Did you like that kind of that rundown of all the various different types of pocket change finds that people are making money off of? Okay, whether they're a legit variety or an error or something like in between that's a little controversial, like a machine double coin. The machine double coin on the list sold for the most amount of money, and again, it just goes to show you that there is a collector base for all different types of sectors of varieties and errors and other anomalies of that type. So it was a pleasure talking about this. It was a lot of fun doing a lot of research on these coins, and this list comprises probably about 1% of all the coins that sold since Christmas Day, guys. That's like 6 days ago. There was a lot of activity, and it was tough to just pick 15 for the sake of keeping the video reasonably lengthy. I didn't want to go in too much depth, but tell me what you think. Do you want me to make it longer with more listings? It was great. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I hope you guys had fun listening in. Again, I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. This is the Pocket Change Market Report for the week ending January 2nd, 2020. Again, my first ever inaugural video of this type, and would love to hear your comments. Like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell for instant notification. And of course, Coinaholics, we are always discovering together today and beyond. So you guys take care. Happy hunting, and I will hear from you soon. Take care.